and welcome. My name is Meepolis, they, he, she, and today's pick is Where Black Stars Rise by Nadia Shammas and Marie Enger, published by Tor Nightfire, an imprint of Macmillan in 2022. This book is part of my current focus on highlighting books by Palestinians and or about Palestine. Insert graphic here of the sum total of titles I am currently aware of. Please drop a comment if I'm missing something. Content notes for Schizophrenia and Night Terrors. Looking at the creative team, Nadia Shammas wrote this compact graphic novel. She has also written Squire, which is next on my TBR, and some work on Miss Marvel. Nadia is a Palestinian American who used to live in NYC, but now lives in Toronto. Artist Marie Enger of the Southwest so-called United States has also done work on Adventure Time, Regression, and Department H. What keywords came to mind reading this volume? Training, failure, perfection, dream, and lost. The summary is, quote, Dr. Amal Robardin, a Lebanese immigrant and a therapist in training, finds herself out of her depth when her first client, Yasmin, a schizophrenic, is visited by a nightly malevolent presence that seems all too real. Yasmin becomes obsessed with Robert Chambers' classic horror story collection, The King in Yellow. Messages she finds in the book lead Yasmin to disappear, seeking answers she can't find in therapy. Amal attempts to retrace her patient's last steps and accidentally slips through dimensions, ending up in Carcosa, realm of the King in Yellow. Determined to find her way out, Amal enlists the help of a mysterious guide. Can Amal save Yasmin, or are they both trapped forever? End quote. Looking at the art first, it certainly wasn't for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. Jagged, with a very deliberately chosen color scheme, I particularly liked how frenetic it felt, which really augmented the feeling of the story nicely. Plus, the layout and overall compositions were really interesting. Writing-wise, I also just got immediately sucked in. After reading through Sandman for a while, I've still been chewing on the question of how mental health and horror can intertwine and how they can flourish better together, in contrast with the definitely bad/lazy use of people who are, quote, crazy as the monstrous other. Anyway, this felt like a fairly successful attempt at an answer, although perhaps just the start. Either way, very engrossing. To break things down a little more, clearly labeled as a remix/response to the King in Yellow collection of short stories by Robert W. Chambers, a predecessor to Lovecraft and the whole eldritch horror thing. The story does take a bit of a break in the middle to get meta, breaking down how even from their bigoted pedestals of privilege, people like Chambers were able to create a subgenre that centers powerlessness in the face of uncaring systems. Quote, while these men grappled with the horror of an uncaring universe, marginalized individuals grapple with the horror of a system specifically designed not to care about us. We are born into something larger, something malevolent, something we have no power to stop. End quote. The power dynamics between our characters were deliberately complicated as well. Our POV character, as a therapist, clearly has power over her patient. On the other hand, we have Yasmin, someone who has been going to therapy for a long time and who has a lot of experience and wisdom that Amal, as a brand new therapist, finds intimidating. And despite all the very interesting things going on and being said, I can't help but feel like the ending was a bit of a letdown and leaves Yasmin as such a question mark. Although perhaps I'm missing something. There is a lot of dream logic going on in the second half. Relationships also felt fairly central to the story, with Amal being at the center of a galaxy of people dancing around her. We have parents, we have a lover, we have a mentor, and we have a patient. Each relationship charged with its own unique but incredibly strong energy. Listening is something that is really questioned and exercised throughout the text, alongside perfectionism. Going through the various intersections, as we do for every review, you will not be surprised that I ranked disability as one of the central themes of the story. Sexuality and race come in a fairly distinct second, but even within our relatively small cast, we see a deliberate move to make each person fairly unique, with a strong sense of diverse experiences. I was not surprised at all to see the pull quotes from Chung Lin Yun and Sloan Leong, as their work also highlights different facets of the queer BIPOC diaspora experience, which is certainly something that, as a white queer person, I think the community really needs and should appreciate. Links to my review of Prism Stalker and The Magic Fish. Gender and class, while not entirely ignored, did feel like the least focused on aspects of the story. 4 stars. Bye y'all, keep reading, and stand with striking workers. And Literally Graphic is created on land that should be given back to the traditional landholders, which in this case is, to my knowledge, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, an Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation.